Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Today we are talking with Whitney. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing great. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Whitney Pugh, and I'm a nurse practitioner, and I own AgenaCare House Calls and AgenaCare Aesthetics in Roanoke and the surrounding areas.
Excellent. Can you tell me what kind of stuff you guys do there?
Yeah, so AgenaCare House Calls is actually a mobile urgent care practice, house call practice that comes to you. So anything that you would go to urgent care for, walk in and be seen for, we can actually come to your home and do it. I started this practice November 2019, pre-COVID, just because I was worked in corporate medicine for years and was tired of how the system was so broken. You know, you're rushed in really quickly. You only are seen for just a couple minutes, and you feel like you've never really been seen. So, I worked in corporate urgent care and was just fed up with how it was. So I said, you know what, I'm going to start a practice of something that I would want as a consumer, as a mom, as a wife. So I developed this house call practice. So it's kind of like, you know, the docs used to come back to, back in the days, they used to actually come to the home and see the patient. And I remember always hearing, you know, my grandparents talk about it and how they always had that respect and they had that relationship with their provider. And sometimes things don't always, you know, change for the better. So that's what house calls is. And so we started just kind of in our area. I started thinking it would just be kind of a side gig. Then COVID hit, and we are one of the few practices, medical practices, that did. We never shut down. We never closed. We never turned patients away. And COVID just kind of, I guess, put gas on the fire. It just kind of lit us, and we have very quickly grown. And out of that, I used to do aesthetics when I first got out of nurse practitioner school. I always loved it and always have done a little bit of it, but we noticed that we had a ton of aesthetics patients actually wanting us to come to their house to do stuff. So that's how AgenaCare House Calls, aesthetics formed, is because we had such a big practice, such a big clientele. So we kind of split the practices. So aesthetics is in office there in Roanoke, and then House Calls is we'll go anywhere in the state of Virginia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, for people who don't know, what do you mean by aesthetics?
So aesthetics is Botox, dermal fillers. We do, of course, any type of skin care, including medical grade skincare. We do PDO threads, which is pretty much like a facelift you can do where you can kind of pull everything back up. We do microneedling. We have the Morpheus 8. We do IPL, laser hair, any type of like lesion removal. That's what we do with our aesthetics.
Fantastic.
Um,
So, how has COVID affected you all? Has business picked up or?
Yeah, COVID actually is really what really set house calls ablaze. I mean, I don't think I realized when I first started it how big house calls would be and how quickly it would be. And honestly, I owe that to COVID because people had to seek out other options, so they didn't just go to the the normal urgent cares or the normal primary cares that they walked in. They had to find other help. So that it honestly it really accelerated us and really pushed us. And then with aesthetics, everybody's behind a mask. So everybody's on Zoom. And when you sit there and you look at Zoom, it seems like all you do is sit and pick out all the things you hate about your skin. So unfortunately, I hate it, but it did. It really made aesthetics grow pretty quickly as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, how many people do you guys employ now?
We have between both the practices, we have 19.
Oh, wow, that's
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah, some full time, some part time. But yeah, we're getting ready to launch into Lynchburg in May.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so have you been in Roanoke your whole life, or?
I have not. I actually grew up in Southwest Virginia, a little town called Rural Retreat, and I grew up there. And after I finished up nurse practitioner school, I actually went to Bristol, Tennessee, and worked there at a level 2 trauma in the ER. And worked there for a little bit of time, and then I wanted to move up and do level 1, so I came to Roanoke. And when I came to Roanoke, I actually met my husband, but we didn't start dating then. Then I left and traveled for a year. I travel nursed in the ER for a year, went out west to Arizona, and then came back to Duke in North Carolina and Pitt, and then came back to the Roanoke area. And then my husband and I got married, and this is where we reside now. We live in Franklin County.
Very cool. What do you think about the Roanoke area as a whole, as far as what it has to offer and how things are starting to boom?
I love it, and I there's things I absolutely love. I love the area. I love the mountains. I love that you can hike, but you can also go to the lake. I think it's great. I would like to see some, the downtown clean up some because there's definitely a lot of great businesses down there, and it can really pull a lot of travelers and stuff down there. But yeah, I love where we live.
Awesome. So I'm always curious, when people pick a career, how did you get into the medical field? What was the main driver behind it?
So yeah, that is funny. So my grandfather was always my everything. He meant the world to me, and he was actually in the medical career. So when I was in high school, you have to start deciding what you're wanting to do for college, and I had no idea. Had no idea what I wanted to be. And I said, you know what? I'll go to nursing school. I'll do something medical because my grandfather did, but still didn't really care what I did. So went to Radford, got my master's in nursing, and came out and worked for a while. And one of the teachers had called me and she said, why don't you come back and be a nurse practitioner? I was like, yeah, no, that's not really what I can see myself doing. And then fast forward 6 months later, I was back in school getting my nurse practitioner. It honestly was just a journey that God put me on. It was not something that I knew from a little girl. That's always what I wanted to do. I just kind of fell there, obviously, where I was supposed to. And then, if you would have asked me 5 years ago that if I would have ever owned a business, I'd have told you no. I'd have said, nope, that's not for me. I don't want to do that. And then, now I look at it and now we have two businesses and we're working on, there's a couple more getting ready to come out. We're working on some nonprofits and stuff. So, it's just interesting kind of where God puts you and where you end up.
Very true. Yes. Um, so when it comes down to like inpatient care, well, not inpatient care, but like when you go to somebody's house, you mentioned that you'll do anything. What kind of procedures do you guys do? Is it just your standard routine stuff that they would do in an urgent care, or is it a little more in depth? Or
Yeah, that's a great question. So we do anything urgent care. So for example, COVID, flu, upper respiratory infections, skin infections, ear infections, eye infections, pneumonia, urinary tract infections, just anything that you would go into an urgent care for, we can do. We can do suturing, wound care. The one thing that we tell everybody as far as orthopedics, we don't have a mobile x ray machine yet. But with that, obviously, it's faster if you go into urgent care, get the x ray, and then get the diagnosis. We can get someone to come out to you, but it does take us a little bit longer. But as far as everything else, we can take care of anything else. We also do primary care. So a lot of people use us for their primary care providers. So we'll do their primary care labs. We'll go out and we'll see them, take care of their prescriptions. But we did also start memberships. So lots of families and companies have taken advantage of the memberships that we offer, where you just pay a very low price per month, and that includes several urgent cares, several telehealths, and then access to us all the time. So it's more like a direct primary care program. So that has been a huge hit, as well as employees who have employers and they don't have, it's hard to pay for health insurance right now because it's expensive. And so they'll utilize us as kind of that fill in the gap, and we'll take care of their employers.
excellent. Do you guys offer payment plans for people who don't have insurance?
Yep, we do. Yep. And the memberships are as little as $68 a month. And that includes your urgent cares, your telehealth, and all that. So it's a very, very reasonable fee for medical care to actually come to your home to make it very convenient for you.
Sounds like it. And it's, The medical industry, of course, I would imagine is something that is on the rise and continually growing. And I know hospitals in general are always looking for people.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, and with COVID made the house call practice. They're predicting it'll go up 5.5% within the next couple of years, even more than it's already increased.
That's awesome. So that means you
Mhm.
guys will have much room to grow.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Yeah, we also did. We started a group where we do. Our company has always been really big advocates for giving back to our communities. So, like, we sponsor little league teams. We do everything that we can do just to help around. We help with the Shrine, which helps with the children's, the burn and crippled children's hospitals. We do everything that we can do. So, we actually started a program. It's called AgenaCares, and it's capital CARES, and that's where we put the donations and stuff to be able to help our community. You know, whether we do sponsorships, whether we do contributions, whether a family's in need and we help them out. So we've really grown in that aspect as well.
Excellent. So you mentioned that you guys are working on a nonprofit. How's that working out for you so far, as far as getting things set up?
So far, good. And I'll be excited when we can finally launch it and tell what we're doing. But we're really excited about it. It's definitely something, everything that we do is because the community needs it. So I'm really excited about it because our community is definitely in need of it. So, yeah, I'm excited to be able to announce it once we finally get the go ahead.
Excellent. So, of course, I found you because I'm really good friends with Dan over at Uncle D's.
Yeah.
What do you think of his place?
I love him. Love him. We call him Daddy D's. And Ashley, his daughter, actually works with us part time with our marketing.
Very cool. I did not know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're an amazing family. We love them very much.
I know they're very active in the community as well, and it's great to see people pulling together to try to make a better place for everyone, especially with the way Roanoke is.
Yes, I agree with you. The people loving each other and helping each other is going to make it go so much further and so much better of a place than people being just nasty. And it looks like some COVID, COVID times have made some changes in places. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I feel like that, in some aspects, COVID kind of hurt a little bit, but it also opened the eyes to all things that are possible when you help your neighbor.
Yes, yes, I agree. I agree. And how great it helps your community and it really pulls them together.
Yes, and it's great to see that that of course we're getting a lot more businesses coming, especially to the Tanglewood area. It's much needed.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The growth there is great.
Yeah. So when it comes down to in the business and the things that you guys offer, is it like 7 days a week, or is it certain days, or
Yep, it's every day. So when I first opened, we originally were 24/7. So it was all the time, every day. The only 2 days out of the year that were closed is Easter Day and Christmas Day. And after 2 years of running the business and working the business, we recognized that less than 1% of people actually needed to be seen after 9 o'clock. So what we did was we had strategic meetings and just said, all right, here's what we want to do. Let's call all our members and our contracted employees, and let's tell them, we're going to close at 9. What do you think about that? And nobody had a single problem with it. So we just in the last 4 months started closing at 9. So we open up in the morning at 8 and we close at 9 in the evening. And it's been a great transition. It's been good, but we're open all the time. We still just remain closed on Easter Day and Christmas Day, but other than that, we're available pretty much anytime.
very cool. So something else that I'm curious about, and I'm just kind of scrolling through your website. Do you guys offer like booking online or making online appointments?
No, we don't. We did that originally in the beginning. We allowed people to do that, but with the area that we cover and where we go all over Virginia, we very quickly had to take that down because we may be in Blacksburg, now, and somebody book in Danville an hour from now, and then somebody book in Lynchburg an hour after that. So we decided we had to take that down, and now we actually have a dispatcher. She answers the phone, finds out what the concerns are, and then she dispatches our providers that go out and see the clients based off of kind of the region and where they're at. And it has made a big difference for us.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So, as far as some of the stuff you guys have done, whether it be with the aesthetics or house calls, do you have like a not so much a favorite part of the business, but do you have a one part that's more successful or the other, or are they pretty much equal when it comes down to that? Or
What I guess my biggest part that I love is I love how the businesses kind of play off of each other. So when house calls is crazy busy and COVID was super high, in the months of December and January, obviously people weren't going into to practices into offices much, right? So our aesthetics business wasn't as busy. COVID kind of dies down and our aesthetics business is crazy busy. Of course, aesthetics is fun, it's the fun part, but I think the biggest thing that really puts a smile on my face and my heart is the patients that when we go in for house calls that we're able to help that we know wouldn't be able to get anywhere or to get the help that they need just because of whatever it is that's going on. And when you make a difference and they're so happy and they invite you to be there with them and their family, those are the things that make such a difference to us and really just kind of warms our heart and lets us know that's where we're supposed to be.
yeah, I can only imagine, just being able to help somebody, even if it's get over the common cold or you know, anything major as well, it's got to be a rewarding thing.
Very, yes.
And I would imagine that with what you guys do, it's definitely a work of passion, and it's got to be something that you guys enjoy doing as well.
Absolutely, it is. Our mission, honestly, when we go and we start, looking when we have hiring, when we're hiring people to come in, our mission is pretty much what it is, and we can tell if they come in and they love that and they love that passion and have that passion for helping, we know they're going to be an asset to our team and they're going to fit in just right.
That's amazing, and I know I've said it already, but it's great that people are helping grow the community, helping make it better one person at a time, and making people happy and healthy, and you can't ask for anything better than that.
Exactly, I agree. Yes.
So I'm not too familiar with the medical field at all. I'm in automotive. I actually work up at the Firestone right up the street from your office.
Oh yeah, we come there a lot.
Yeah, I run the service department up there. So
Yeah.
when it comes to let's just say you have somebody comes in, or you go to somebody who just wants like a routine checkup, or say um, blood work or anything like that. What are the general processes to get it started from beginning to end, and how does your process work for that?
Yeah. So what they'll do is they'll call us, and then our dispatcher will get them all set up. We typically, for primary care visits, always set those up first thing in the morning because we like to do blood work and we need them to be fasting. So we'll go out, do the blood work, check their vitals, do a complete assessment on them, and then go through all their history. What's your family history? What is your history? Just different things like that. And then also just at the end, always leave it open. All right, what are some things you want to talk about? What are some things you feel like you need? Just because sometimes if you just give them that opportunity to talk, things can pop up or things can come up instead of them going, oh, I forgot, to ask. So that's kind of our process. Then once we get their labs back, we go over everything with them and come up with a plan. And then we'll just set them kind of on a schedule. If they need yearly checkups, that's how we'll do it. And then they just call us whenever they need an urgent care visit. They just call us and let us know.
Excellent. Now I know you're on social media. You're on Instagram. I know for sure. Are you on Facebook as well?
We are. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We are on, yes. And that is what our marketing team works on a lot because we know that it's important for our clients to feel like they already know us. So when we walk into their home, they don't feel like it's a stranger. And it has worked very good for us because we'll walk into homes of people we've never met and they'll be like, oh, I saw you the other day when you guys were doing this. And so it does make a difference. They do feel more comfortable because they feel like they already know us.
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
that's really where the connection is, not so much with social media, but making people feel like you're part of a family, even if it's you're going there to check them up, and see how they're doing and do blood work or anything like that. So that's definitely key. I know, when I go to the doctor, I feel like it's just somebody who is reading your chart. They don't give you the impression that not so much they don't want to know you, but it's almost like you're just another person they got to talk to throughout the day.
Right.
And the other thing too is, and I think it's pretty cool, is that you guys do house visits, and you know, not everybody likes going to the doctor. Of course, I don't think anybody
Right.
does.
Right. Yeah. And our biggest question that we get is everybody asks us, why don't you take insurance? And the fact what the reason is because we couldn't survive if we did take insurance. Reimbursements of a house call are right at $50. And so when you look at the gas going there, well, you've already spent that when you pull out of the parking lot, especially these days. And so with all of our insurance that we have to carry, it just wouldn't work. And for us to be able to provide the care that we provide and be able to stay at our client's house for however long we need to stay there, that's the reason we just do one flat fee, cash price, and there's no extra billing or any of that. Now, what we have started doing is we have started sending super bills to every one of our clients that we see. And so then they can actually file it with their insurance if they would like to, which makes it beneficial so that it can, they're already paying for something, they can, insurance can help them and reimburse them.
Yeah, that's very cool. Um, do you guys have a website?
We do. AgenaCare.com is for AgenaCare house calls. And then AgenaCareAesthetics.com is for, of course, our aesthetics thing. Yep. And we have soirees for our aesthetics. That's probably one of the most fun events. So quarterly, we'll have a soiree. We did a murder mystery. We've had casino night. We went up to Valhalla Winery and sat out there on the fire and outside and listened to music. And so we have a lot of fun events with aesthetics for our
Very cool.
clients.
Now,
Hmm.
do you work with any hospitals or any offices around Roanoke?
So we don't have contracts per se. We have a lot of offices, primary care practices, and even urgent cares that will refer their clients to or their patients to us. So if they can't get them in, or if it's after hours, or if it's something that they know needs to be seen, now they will give out our name and our number and tell the clients to call us.
Very cool. So you
Mm.
mentioned that you guys do have events every once in a while. Do you have anything coming up that you know of?
So right now we have the next thing that we're planning is we are planning a gala, and that's for Stars and Shields, which is a nonprofit that helps veterans and military. People be able to just all kinds of things mentally, physically, emotionally be able to adapt. So we are helping to raise money for them. We're doing a gala and it is in August. And so if anybody's interested in tickets, all they have to do is go to our website or they can email us. Amber is the one who's heading that up. So it's Amber at AgenaCare. But that's our next event that we've got planned on the books right now.
Very cool. It's great to see people helping our veterans.
Yes, yes, they need all the help they can get because they absolutely deserve it.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. Um, so as far as Roanoke in general or the surrounding areas, you mentioned you guys will go anywhere in Virginia. Have you been anywhere that kind of stands out as like uh, I guess like a favorite place to go?
Oh, a favorite place. Goodness, yes. I mean, of course, the beaches are always the best, you know. But we always try to I always try to send my staff there when it's a good place to go so they can have kind of the perks of the job. We've gone to movie sets, and met some of the stars, which has been real fun for my staff. Just different things like that. So those are the ones that kind of stand out for me.
That's very cool. I guess from an outsider's perspective, that's got to be very rewarding first, and then of course, getting to help people at the same time. I guess it's a win-win.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And the people we've met, just the people we've met, it's some of the most amazing, talented people with some just great stories that we never would have met otherwise.
If you don't mind me asking, who have you guys met?
Oh, as far as oh yeah, well we can't. We would love to tell, but we can't.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Figured I'd give it a shot.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it sounds like you guys are doing great things, and of course, there's always great things to come for people who are working hard, and it sounds like you guys are working diligently to not only help people but grow the business to where you can help more people.
Yes, yeah, we are. I appreciate you letting me join today and just kind of share a little bit about us.
Absolutely. I pass by there all the time, and I always wondered what it was.
Yeah, well, stop by and see us one day. We'd love to see you, but I'm sure we'll see you at Firestone soon. We have CRV fleets, and so we bring them in frequently.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate you taking time out. It's been a pleasure, and I learned a lot more than I knew before.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Josh. I really appreciate you.
No problem. Thank you.